Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy.
The oligarchy taking place, you heard him say. Well, that sent Google searches for the oligarchy shooting way up. People were wondering, what is an oligarch? What does this mean? Well, lucky for us, we've covered it right here on this show before. And in light of the president's comments, we wanted to break it down for you. So let's bring you to Russia. Watch. The modern Russian oligarch's story starts back in 1989.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
The wall fell, and soon after, in 1991, so did the Soviet Union.
Eastern Europe is free. The Soviet Union itself is no more. This is a victory for democracy and freedom.
After almost 70 years of Russian communism, where the state controlled everything, the Russian people saw huge political and economic change practically overnight. For most regular Russians, this seismic shift was chaotic. But for a select few businessmen known as oligarchs, they managed to rise to the top. The word itself is Greek, derived from oligarchy, and means rule of the few. An oligarch is one of those few. With the state no longer controlling major economic sectors, rich men who had been gaining wealth often in Russia's legitimate businesses and allegedly in the black market stood ready to take control if they had political connections. And many of them did. 1996, it looked as if the communists might return to power in the presidential election. Oligarchs stood together to help Boris Yeltsin's re-election. Infighting inside those elite circles helped bring on the Russian financial crisis of 1998, which in turn helped the rise of Vladimir Putin. At the time, the future president was a lieutenant colonel in the KGB, reportedly gathering information on these oligarchs and the illegal ways they got rich. The oligarchs largely stood in line with Putin as he rose in the political ranks to prime minister, then president. And for the most part, they've stayed in line. In his farewell speech, President Biden did not name names specifically of who he sees as the oligarchy now in America. But at a different point, he also warned about, in his words, the tech industrial complex, which to many appeared like a not so subtle shot at President-elect Trump as he's tightening his ties with tech billionaires ahead of his inauguration.